Those are unwanted things. This is not progress at all. If after a thorough exercise, a deep exercise is obtained, you should immediately engage in a clear sight observation to find out the full benefit of this. Which means that you would entertain the thought that has come to you. If a deep feeling of some kind comes out of that, you want to reflect on that for a while and look for the real meaning of that, because things will start coming out of your spirit and appearing as you begin this exercise. But that's the first exercise. I would say that you would practice that every day, 2 or 3 times a day, maybe for 5 minutes each, and do that for a couple of weeks to the point where it gets very easy to concentrate, where you can immediately concentrate on your breathing with no problem, where the 3 stages of the breathing become very clear to you, and where hopefully some sort of deep concentration begins, where you begin to see this Sohar light which just naturally appears in your eyes. Okay? One thing that should be made clear at the close of this breathing exercise, this breathing observation exercise, something you should know about, that you can make progress at this anytime you want to. It's just necessary for you to remain alert, remain honest with yourself, and don't try to cheat. Block out any unwanted visions and so forth. You cannot come to any harm to this unless you allow these self-suggestive illusions and things that appear to get the better of you. Don't follow them. However, anyone who preserves his moral mental equilibrium and does this the way that you're instructed here by keeping your mind clear, there's absolutely no danger at all whatsoever in here. The first signs of success during meditative exercise is the occurrence of very vague and at first incoherent forms of dream images in the waking state without the meditation person concentrating upon such images or wishing to see them. So after you've done a breathing exercise and you get a deep thing, in the waking state in your conscious mind you begin to see some sort of incoherent forms or dream images. These images are first forms of beginning meditation immersion. They distinguish themselves unmistakably from a normal dream image by their very extreme clarity and distinctness. If the meditative exercise is handled properly, the images do not exhibit any power of suggestion and gradually begin to link up with logical forms. Though in the beginning, though, it's only very loosely, but in the end they generally reveal the whole course of an event. You see, these events are conditions generally of the past, present, or the future, whereby these are not coded in any sort of symbolism as in the case of a normal dream. Dreams are generally symbols of ideas and things that you're working out and aren't accurate. But these are very clear sight visions of a past, present, or future. The waking state dream images of the meditation are clear and very distinct. They always show events in their order of development, which is another key. This enables the meditating individual to recognize the events very clearly, but the task still remains to examine, by the way of new meditative occurrences, the period and their connections, what they're really all about. So you will experience, once you begin to practice your exercise and get deeper and deeper into it, once that's over, during your normal waking state material consciousness, you'll start to get dream images that are kind of incoherent, and you can't seem to connect them. But they will just keep coming stronger. This is your spirit beginning to show you things. You're beginning to get in touch with different knowledges of your spirit from the past, present, and the future. The investigation of these events released by your waking state dreams prove extremely difficult and laborious. If you have to have a good place to do this. If you're in the everyday world with billions of people, if you're in a high population area, it's almost impossible with all these billions of people and their trains of thoughts. So you need to find an isolated area, and generally a pyramid is required in order to do this, to isolate outside influences of thought. If you use a pyramid, it has to be of exact measurements and form. As a matter of fact, if you have access to the exact measurements and form of the Great Pyramid Giza, that's the ones to use. The pyramid should also include kind of a vibration in a very definite direction, where you point that to a certain area north, and you'll learn all about that in the pyramid book. If you begin to meditate and you achieve these very first successes in the breathing exercise and it gets deep, the appearance of the waking state dreams then indicate that it's time for you to learn the actual immersion techniques and the colors that go with it, so you can develop even farther. Basically, this meditation exercise we've been talking about is a rule of relaxation, and it's a very standard way of doing things. but there are other ways to do it. Once you've done that, we're no longer going to pay any attention to the breath. We're now going to develop a different meditative immersion technique using color. And this can be done basically just lying down, where you flatten yourself out, loosen up and relax the body very well. Close your eyes, loosen up and relax. Again, breathe deeply in and out 3 times, just like we did before. This time, however, we're going to start forming definite thoughts, definite objects of our meditation that we're going to use. The object of our meditation may be to stop smoking, for instance, and the secondary object may be to link to happier times or link to a future time when you don't smoke and see yourself very happy. So we have a definite object in mind that we want to accomplish through the meditation. In contrast to the breathing meditation exercise, another process, this meditative immersion process, is dealing with color. This way, the observation is no longer turned towards your breathing, but has to be now directed towards your eyes, the back of your eyes once they're closed, so you can concentrate on the colors as the colors appear. The concentration then comes in the form of practicing and carrying out this concentration on these colors. That means the knowledge about the existence of the colors is present, which I'll go over now. You're going to understand the colors. You're not going to force the colors to come in. They naturally will come in based on the depth of immersion of your meditation. The depth of the immersion of your meditation, of course, is dependent upon your ability to concentrate and see a single thing, or concentrate on an object or a thought. Okay, that's what we did in our breathing practice. That's what we practiced on. See, in this way you simply know that the colors exist, but you don't have to do anything to manufacture them or cause them actually to come into your attention. Okay, the standard colors of meditative immersion consist of the tones blue, green, yellow, and red. Blue will first come in when we start the immersion technique. The first thing that will come in is the color blue. This represents the color of the presence, the life, and of your own existence. It's a very natural thing. It will just naturally come to the back of your eyes. The next color that will come is green, and that means that you're getting deeper into the meditation. This represents the color of the beginning change from the conscious into your subconscious. You're shutting down your conscious self, you're getting into your subconscious, as well as the beginning of the change from the present, moving into the past or possibly into the future. The third color is yellow. This represents the color of the concluded change from the conscious to the unconscious. So when the color yellow appears, you know from the conscious to the unconscious. So when the color yellow appears, you know it's kind of like an elevator. You know how deep you are into the consciousness. Into your meditative immersion. Okay. So when the color yellow comes along, you know that by now you have slipped from your conscious state into your subconscious state, and you've concluded the change from the present. You are now drifting. You're no longer concentrating on the moment. You're drifting either into the future or back into the past. The color red represents the color of penetration into the unconscious, or penetration into the past or the future. So it's a gradual transition through these colors. The colors come naturally, and by virtue of knowing what the colors represent, you then are aware of how deep you are into this immersion. And this, of course, takes quite a bit of practice. It may take months for you to actually cause all this to happen. It is necessary that you do this on a regular and timely basis. If you only do it sporadically, you cannot really, hope to achieve hardly any successes whatsoever. So it's necessary, if you're going to practice doing this, do it daily, set aside an exact time to start doing it, and put so much effort into it every day so that you actually, get some benefit out of it. So the colors, blue, green, yellow, and red, are responsible or indicative of the meditative immersion. Use the same colors also in returning. If the colors are employed in the sequence that we just talked about, blue, green, yellow, red, then when you come out of this, you'll also do the same thing in reverse. You would go red, yellow, green, blue. And you're setting yourself up and telling yourself these are what the colors represent, and that's what will happen. So our actual process of meditation immersion then is done like this. First of all, I would not use any music or anything distracting, because we want to concentrate on what we're doing. This isn't a relaxation technique at this point. We're beginning to actually immerse ourselves into spirit and to start doing things with our spirit. So get in an absolutely quiet place. Hopefully, if you had a pyramid or bought one, you could do that and lay down flat with your body loosened up and totally relaxed with your arms at your side. Close your eyes, loosen up and relax. Breathe deeply in and out 3 times, very deep breaths, and let the breath totally all the way out so your body relaxes. Then you begin to concentrate your thoughts and remembering your primary goal of determination, what you're going to do when you go into this. Keep your 2 goals in mind. You have a primary goal and a secondary goal. Okay? Once you've got the thoughts, remind yourself of what your thoughts are going to be, your purpose for meditation, the object of what your meditation is about. Then just drop that from your thoughts. You no longer concentrate on that. You then begin to just concentrate with your eyes, watching the back of your eyelids. And just allow yourself to drift away. By that I mean exclude all unwanted thoughts and feelings and so forth, and concentrate just totally on the color in front of your eyes. Within a very short time, once all unwanted thoughts are gone and you are completely relaxed, a blue color will slowly come into place. If the blue color does appear, concentrate then on your secondary goal, determination, and let it deeply penetrate into yourself. Our secondary goal then was to see or look into the future and see ourselves as a happy person not smoking. Okay? When that blue color comes along, we're going to concentrate on it 3 times. It'll kind of pulsate. It'll get very strong once and blue, and then it'll come back and it'll get strong again. Let that happen 3 times with this blue color as it comes in. Okay? Once that happens, if the method of immersion, if your meditative immersion continues, the green color will slowly come in. And if the color blue has appeared, then a 3-fold concentration on the color green will follow right after that. Okay? After that, there's also this inward concentration will take place again, where once again you will feel and get images about your secondary goal. These images will start coming to you. If the color green has appeared 3 times, if it'll actually go through these 3 phases of deep green coming in, then a 3-fold concentration on the color yellow is brought about automatically. It automatically comes into play. You don't cause it to happen. You just observe the yellow coming in, and your vision then goes totally yellow 3 times very strongly. If the color yellow has appeared 3 times, the next thing is the concentration on the color red will come about at some point when you get good enough at it. If this color appears, you have drifted even deeper and deeper, and that's as deep as you can go when the color red comes in. With practice over a period of years, a number of things are obtained. You will learn a symbol language that will come to you. Your spirit then will be able to develop very strongly, where telekinetic powers will come about, where you can move things, levitation, telepathy gets very strong, spiritual telepathy and primary telepathy. You'll be able then through these methods to find the symbols and keys to the symbol language and have access to the Akashic records like we talked about before. But most importantly, you can use this as a balancing factor in your life to keep yourself balanced between the material and spiritual self. You will also have then first-hand real truth about life. You will no longer have any fear of the death cycle whatsoever, because you will then have absolute certainty of the spiritual self that you are, knowing that you will move forward. Knowledge of creation then becomes yours. Power of creation then becomes yours. After a period of time, the color red will gradually become like a veil of mist. And this is where the waking state images begin to manifest themselves. They're always in accordance, though, in the forms with a goal determination, because you've done some pre-programming. So these images, these waking state images that will come to you, will be, responses or information about whatever the goal was that you went in with. In contrast to sleeping state images, again, the waking state images remain extremely constant. It means they don't grow hazy, they don't fall into oblivion like sleeping state images, like dreams do. Because of their extreme clarity and appearance, they remain very powerful, they're very vivid, and they can, at a later time, after the meditative immersion, after you've come out of it, they can be processed further by the material conscious mind in connection with the unconscious, because your spiritual unconscious will send impulse information to your material conscious mind in connection with the images that you have seen. And then you can draw conclusions from that, and information will come to you. When you are ready to come out of the meditative immersion, the return is just in reverse of how you got in. If the color is blue